Wow. Circle K is closed. It's got a sign up that says we'll be back by 7:10. I gotta be to work by 7, so I ain't got time for that. A couple of guys I was talking to in front of the store seemed also bewildered if the store was closed. Another guy going and checking the door. Can't believe it's closed. Circle K, kind of an oddity. It's still got its wooden shade awnings in front. Most Circle K's that use that particular building chopped those off in the 1980s and 1990s. So nice to see that that one still has its shade. Not that it did me any good. I'm here at night, and so I think that's the road I turned down. Yeah, Yuma Road. Oh, I didn't mention that when I drove through Old Town Goodyear. The mile between it's the Buckeye Road alignment there. I think it's 1200 south. The mile between Dysart Road and Litchfield Road, it's called Western Avenue, which is like the main street of sorts. Goodyear. Goodyear is funny. It kind of has two main streets. It's got Western Avenue, which I drove down last night, and then it has MC 85, which I've always referred to as Buckeye Road because it's the road to Buckeye. And that's what I'm coming on here. And I'm just trying to find a Circle K. I got about 15-20 minutes before I have to be at work, and I really want to get a fountain soda. So I know there's nothing if I turn to the right. Oh, and the curvature of Buckeye Road follows these railroad tracks. I forget exactly where it is, and I did note yesterday as I was driving out Buckeye Road that we were paralleling the tracks when we crossed the Agua Fria River. Generally speaking, these tracks sit about halfway between Buckeye and Van Buren, and I forget exactly where they do a little S-curve to line up with being on the other side of Buckeye Road. But yeah, when you get to Goodyear here, they curve and go south, and MC 85 follows that curvature. So yeah, right here, that street sign there, it showed going the direction I turned as Main Street, and then going the other direction as MC 85. So as I was trying to say, the old part of Goodyear kind of has two main streets. There's MC 85, which I've always referred to as Buckeye Road, but out here it's actually called Main Street, and then which is the highway route, and then there's Western Avenue, which goes through Goodyear's little humble downtown. And I remember there being convenience stores on this stretch of MC 85, but there's one. There's a Circle K. I'm trying to remember if this is called Central Avenue or whatever. This is kind of like the center point, and it's halfway. I can't see the damn sign. Whoa. I'm gonna go look at the sign. I'll say what it says when I get back. But yeah, my vision wasn't good enough to read the damn thing. I sure was pushing the issue and stopping for that because it's 6:48 p.m. right now. But according to the app, I have a 10-minute window. And the funny thing about Winolo is when you show up within the allotted time window for being early or late, they round it off to that specific time. So if you show up early, you end up not getting paid for, that potentially extra 10 minutes of work. So ironically, better to show up to 10 minutes late. So I was right, this is Central Avenue here. I was thinking that's what it was. It's been so long since I've done any cab driving out here, and that's really the only thing that's ever brought me to this part of Goodyear up until now, coming to work at Factor. And mostly my driving out here as a cab driver was in the 1990s. So I'm rolling on really old memories of the layout of this area. will say back in the 1990s, this was very detached from the rest of Phoenix. It isn't even really an outlying suburb anymore because you've got so much further beyond here, particularly Buckeye, which used to also be very much a detached and separate town. In fact, nobody back in the 90s would have even really considered Buckeye to be a suburb of Phoenix, but it definitely is now. Speaking of suburbs of Phoenix, what frequently gets referred to as a suburb of Phoenix right now, especially on internet videos that talk about it, which for me is a big head scratcher, is Maricopa, the town of Maricopa, which to me, I don't know, still doesn't really, even though it kind of functions as a suburb of Phoenix, I have trouble thinking of it as a suburb of Phoenix for two reasons. One, it's not in Maricopa County, it's Pinal County. And two, I just had that moment where I was trying to figure out if I was north or south of Yuma. I was still south of Yuma. There's a big airport on the left here, by the way. Not like a commercial passenger jet type airport, but an airport nonetheless. Whoa, hello, Kurt. Yeah, that's the one thing. But the big thing to me that makes it hard to think of Maricopa as a suburb of Phoenix is because it is detached from Phoenix by a huge distance. Now, I don't know how many miles, but it's a substantial distance by the Gila River Indian Reservation. And that detachment will always be there because it's not like the Gila River Indian Reservation is ever going to become developed as suburbia. Anyway, God, it's still so spooky seeing that big strip mall on the right being completely dark and vacant like it is. I do remember that being a busy strip mall in the 1990s, but it was kind of on the ghetto side back then. So I think I turned right at this light, if I remember right. It's like 171st place or something like that. Man, the smell of incense is just overpowering in this car. I really gotta take some time to clean out this car and get all the things that smell funky out of here, which at this point also includes my socks from last night. So I'm better prepared for the wet feet thing today. I got my Amazon work shoes on. It's kind of funny, I've got one shoe from one pair and one shoe from the other pair. I don't know how they got separated like that, but nobody's gonna be able to see them, so it doesn't matter. And they're the same make and model shoe, just one is an older version of it, and there were some slight stylistic changes on them, but you gotta really look to see that they're not the same. But yeah, I got some pretty nice clean socks on my feet, and then between my socks and my shoes, I've got 2 layers of bags, kind of inner layer ice grocery bags, and then outside of that I used QT food bags, which are a thicker, sturdier plastic, and hopefully that keeps my feet dry. I'm hoping.